I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna pretend here that I sat down and watched a whole episode of the Kardashians. I don't. I mean, I did watch the one where um, Kim Kardashian beat the crap out of, I think, the oldest one, but is the smallest one. I think her name is Kourtney Kardashian. That they got themselves in that. Like, they just started smacking the crap out of it because it was all over the internet. So that piqued my curiosity. And also, you cannot take away from them that they're incredibly savvy business women, that they managed to turn a sex tape into a massive empire, not only for Kim Kardashian, but for everybody. And you can see that they also have a sense of family because you know what? It wasn't just going to be Kim Kardashian windfall, it was going to be for all of them. Why am I talking about this? I don't know. And what does it have to do with Rachel Meghan Markle? It has a lot to do with her. I found the city of Porreres yesterday in Spain, and part of me was hugely disappointed. And at the same time, I immediately thought of that is a very good business move. So we're gonna get into this and I'm gonna show you because apparently Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner have urged Meghan Markle to do what's right because they have done it in the past. They're trying to advise her that, you know what, unlike me, like, and this is Kim Kardashian talking, that unlike her, well, unlike him, who had already um packaged, labeled all like hundreds of thousands of clothing, underwear that she had to relabel everything. So let's get into this. But is Megan listening? Of course not. Of course, Megan never listens. Of course, what does she do? She railroads people. And instead, she mocked the hell out of Kim Kardashian because, of course, Meghan Markle is a duchess. How dare you call me Kim? Who do you think you are? A self made billionaire out of a sex tape? I am a royal duchess. And whatever the royal duchess wants, the royal duchess gets. But does she? And what is Netflix saying about this? I don't know how many of you remember this, but Kim Kardashian, you know, her line Skims, which is actually she's done very well for herself. Kim Kardashian's line of kimono underwear faces backlash in Japan as reality star is accused of disrespecting its culture. Kim Kardashian has angered Japanese people by bringing out kimono garment. The figure-hugging underwear is named after the traditional Japanese clothing. The 38-year-old also trademarked the kimono intimates range of shapewear. Social media users accused the reality star of disrespecting traditional culture. Keep in mind that very important word because we're at a time when cultural appropriation means everything. And it's very important not only for, you know, as a human, as respecting other people's cultures, but also because, you know, it's a very bad PR move. So, what does Kim Kardashian do? Keep in mind that she had already labeled hundreds of thousands of underwear, the Skims line. She had that is incredibly expensive because she basically had to change the label. That costs money. And she had already, guess what? Like a good businesswoman, Kim Kardashian had already trademarked the brand. So she did do her due diligence before actually launching her brand or claiming to launch the brand, unlike Meghan Markle. And this is where the savviness and cleverness of the Kardashians come into play, unlike Rachel Meghan Markle. Because you see, yes, it cost her a fortune to have to they have to remove, and sometimes, you know, depending on where the label is, you might have to cut it and replace the fabric. I don't know how they do it, but it cost her hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. But she gained the Asian market, which is a huge market, by showing respect. And I'm going to show you, I mean, how clever this woman is because this is what it shows to, in the way she turned it around, unlike Meghan Markle. And I'm going to show you the big problem because Meghan is not listening to Netflix. Netflix is livid. She lied to them. She misrepresented herself. She said that she had secured the brand. I'm going to show you that the brand to this day, it's still not secured. And I have a huge question to ask you too. And we're going to start with that right now, but I'm going to show you what Kim Kardashian. And for copyright reasons, I will play 10 seconds at a time. It'll be like 30 seconds at the most, that 30, 40 seconds that you were listening to this woman being a genius at being a businesswoman.
Kyoto sent my publicist a letter where he was very thoughtful and very kindly explaining to me the meaning of kimono and why that's so important.
Yes. So this is just to set up to you. She received a letter from the mayor of Kyoto to her agent or a publicist, explaining to her the meaning of the word kimono and why that is important to them, and pleading with her to please remove that from her brand as her brand name.
To their culture. I feel like there's no doubt in my mind that we have to change the name. Kimono is a traditional ethnic dress and truly symbolizes a sense of beauty, spirits, and values of Japanese. Reading that letter, I felt an understanding.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is something that Meghan doesn't feel for the mayor of Paredes. Okay. I told you I called them yesterday, and I'm going to tell you more a little bit about that. They were very polite, but listen to Kim Kardashian being so smart, because she's coming across, and I do believe that she feels that way, but at least also she's thinking financially, because she knows that if she doesn't, that if she disrespects, that the kimono is huge to a large Asian culture, and that is a big market. So you know what? She decided to take the hit for it, but the way she turned it around and say, you know what? I got a letter from the mayor, and it's explained to me that the importance of the culture. So listen, I mean, this woman is really clever.
I definitely did not want to disrespect a culture. That's not what the brand is even about. It's about inclusivity. It's about comfort. It's not about making people uncomfortable. I just feel kind of dumb. Like, why didn't we think about this?
I mean, the genius of this woman. And listen to this. Listen to this.
Yeah, you have everything produced already, so how are you going to salvage that?
I don't know. It's just frustrating that I didn't really think about it thoroughly ahead of time, or the whole team didn't. For the next few days, it's going to be really like hell living.
So you see, by her being very clever, saying, you know what, we should have thought about it, but we respect the culture. We have already produced everything, but out of respect, we're gonna change. We're gonna change it, you know. And this is the part that I really, really. I mean, this woman is such, you know, as much as I despise the Kardashians, but this was a brilliant PR move.
Wondering how to fix this. It sucks that it's so public and everyone can see the mistakes of the brand as they're live, basically. But I gotta just calm down. Like, everything happens for a reason, and we have to change the name.
Now, what is really interesting about this little bit that I want to show you is that Kim Kardashian acknowledges it, that she should have looked into it. Her team should have looked into it. She admits very publicly in her show that that was a mistake made, unlike what Meghan did in her little video, pretending that, oh no, I dropped American Riviera Orchard because blah, 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 blah. So if she had already secured as ever brand, like she stated in that stupid video, which we know is a lie, it's being proven that it's a lie, why would she go through the trouble of doing the RO thing, the American Riviera thing, the American Riviera Orchard? Why would she need to do that? Because of course she hadn't secured it. She was absolutely confident she was going to do it. And like Kim says, we've done it so publicly, the kimono thing, you know, and it's out in the public view, but she admits, she owns up her mistake. She owns up and uses cultural, sensitivity to come back from that mistake. And that immediately made her like, wow, this woman is going to risk a lot of, she's going to lose a lot of money rebranding, and which she came up with skims. She's going to lose a lot of money on rebranding, but because she respects other cultures, she's willing to take the hit for that. And this is a culture that's huge. Asian culture is huge. Is everybody's trying to go into the Asian market if you want to make it big, because it's such a huge market. So she turned it around and made it a brilliant move, unlike Meghan Markle. And you're asking me why, Paula, you babbling on about that for this. I called yesterday at the office of the mayors, and I got a very kind response. And they said that, that first they were angry because they weren't sure whether that was a joke or not. They didn't even know who this As Ever brand was until, of course, they did a little bit more digging. And unfortunately, the city of Perez, they are under the impression that Harry and Meghan Markle are still royals. And once they found out that it was Harry and Meghan Markle who are behind that thing, they decided not to sue. So I'm going to read you. This is from the Mallorca Daily Bulletin. Mayor invites Meghan Markle to the town fiestas. So this lady's also being smart because she knows that by this being so public, she is also capitalizing on that. And she goes, the mayor of Porreras, Francisca Mora Veni, officially invited Meghan Markle to visit Porreras and see for herself its beauty and obviously its centuries-old coat of arms, which is proving to be slightly controversial. The mayor said that they were not planning any legal action, but they would like Meghan's logo withdrawn because it is so similar to their centuries-old coat of arms, which has pride of place in the town hall. I would like to officially invite her to Porreras, and it would be fantastic if she could come during our fiestas. I would also show her the history of our coat of arms and what it means for this area. The whole episode is giving us great promotion, she said. Then he went on to say that all residents were proud of their coat of arms and said it was part of the area's culture and history. Does Meghan care, though? Of course she doesn't care. She's been told that this is a historical, that's been like about 300 years old coat of arms, which has cultural history. It has cultural importance in a town. But does Meghan care? Of course not. And this is why she's such a failure. One of the many reasons why she's such a failure. One of the many reasons Netflix is so angry she came out with that video saying that she had partnered with them, because they're not her partners. They are, in any case, her bosses, because nobody else wants to work with her. This is why her brand is so toxic, because she doesn't see this as an opportunity to say, hey, wait a minute, to present herself as a human being, as somebody who cares about cultures. This is a woman who's been claiming racism here and disrespect out of race, yet she has no respect for other people's cultures, other people's races, nothing. It's whatever she wants, whatever Meghan gets. And as I asked before, if she had already secured the As Ever brand, as she falsely claimed in that 1.5 minute video, then why didn't she use that to begin with rather than try to go for the American Riviera orchard? Because of course we know she's lying, but she has been publicly invited to please stop using that logo, because it is a cultural logo that has cultural importance to a country, to a nation, to a little town, but it's still important to them. It has cultural meaning. Meghan Markle is culturally appropriating a logo, something that means something that's been there centuries old. And the worst part of it all is that she's attaching it to a D-list brand that is most likely going to fail, and it's going to diminish and denigrate the importance of the logo for these people, because these people take pride on their logo, on their coat of arms. That's not even a logo, it's a coat of arms. They take pride on that, whereas Meghan, oh, I like that, I'm going to grab it. I don't care, and then because now when you think of that logo and the failures and the controversy that it's bringing, you unfortunately are going to associate it with the town of Paredes, which has become infamous overnight because of Rachel Meghan Markle. So and guess what? As I pointed out yesterday, As Ever is not the only, As Ever NYC is not the only business that has the As Ever name. And this one is trademarked. Until 2 days ago, this account used to be public, but because of the backlash and controversy, she has made the account private. Unfortunately for Meghan, As Ever Photography, and it's trademarked. That TM that you see, it's trademark right there, right here. This thing here means trademark. It is trademark because apparently, unlike As Ever NYC, they haven't really trademarked their brand, but they have like something called that's a common law trading. And I mean, they can still object. But the thing is that we have that mayor of Spain telling her, asking her politely to please change your logo because that is our coat of arms. It's too similar to our coat of arms. It has deep cultural meaning. It means something to us. You know, please don't do that. Of course, what do you think Megan's going to do, guys? I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds? So, what is Megan doing? Rather than listening to Kim Kardashian's and Kris Jenner phone call because they called her to advise her and she laughed on their faces. Who do you think you are? I am a royal duchess. And Kris Jenner, most of all, she was trying to be well meaning and said to her, you haven't produced anything, unlike Kim, who had already produced everything. She had already trademarked, she had an already approved trademark, and she has already produced hundreds of thousands of items. She still took the loss because she gained a huge market, an even bigger market. And not only that, her image improved. But what is Meghan? Does she listen? Of course not. She just faints. Because as I told you in my video yesterday, she was called to a meeting because that video that she did, she didn't run it by anybody. She didn't run it by anybody. She's not partnered with Netflix. She hasn't secured that brand As Ever. She didn't choose to drop American Riviera Orchard. She actually just couldn't secure the patent because everything this woman does is a failure. And and she's not humble enough to admit they made a mistake, unlike Kim Kardashian. So whatever my thoughts and feelings land on Kim Kardashian, at least she's savvy enough to turn it around and come across as a very respectful woman who's willing to take a hit on the market financially in order to respect somebody, a little mayor, a mayor of Kyoto. Well, Kyoto is not a small, but still, you know what I mean. So Meghan, no, she doesn't do that because it's not the first time that Meghan has railroaded people. How they took over that Sussex Royal, it belonged to an Instagram that belonged to somebody else, and he woke up one day while he was still when Meghan and Harry were still in the royal family. And I blame the palace for that because they used that to remove the name of a guy. He had Sussex Royal as his account in Instagram. And then one day he woke up because his son called him and said, you're no longer Sussex Royal. Guess who owns your new Instagram? And how did Instagram justified it? Oh, he barely used his account, and he said, no, I actually used it quite a lot to like stuff. I may not post a lot, but I was active. I was very active, like liking stuff, because for example, I don't like very much, now I'm posting more stuff on Instagram, but I do use my Instagram account to like things, to view things, so that makes you still active even if you don't post. So they already have a history, and they already have a history of somebody very powerful in California helping them. Yes, Harry and Meghan. We do remember this little debacle. Harry and Meghan's Archwell charity found delinquent over unpaid fees and unable to fundraise. This is true. By the way, they are still delinquent. What happened is that Gavin Newsom used his influence to remove them from the list of being delinquents, but they're still delinquent because if you go to the Justice Department website, you will still find that they still haven't filed the correct paperwork. They paid the fee, but they still haven't submitted the report, the 2023 report. I mean, never mind the 2024, the 2023 one. So it is, at least until yesterday when I checked. But using the influence of the mayor, they were able to be unlawfully, illegally be removed from the list of delinquents. And don't take my word for it, because he went to bat for them. Because actually was doing a public function in regards to Californians. And what does he do? Instead of talking about that, he used his precious minutes to speak out for them. And don't take my word for it. This is corrupt. Gavin Newsom, he went to do a public engagement, and you're going to see the people behind him, their reactions. They're like, what is this man talking about?
There's been an unbelievable amount of attention that has been placed on the Archwell Foundation. I'm here at a behavioral health site, a mental health site. Archwell Foundation, run by Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, do extraordinary work, particularly women and girls, but notably around mental health. And I just want folks to know, not only are they in compliance, there's a technical paperwork issue that was wildly over hyped. And with respect, I hope people that ran those headlines run this headline, that it was a very typical technical issue around.
Yeah. Do we all remember that, guys? Do we all remember that, guys? It was terrible. They were delinquent. It wasn't a technical error. I remember the headlines. Oh, they forgot to send the check. The check is in the mail. Nowadays, you don't pay like that. You pay online. Oh, no, it's the paperwork. It wasn't as much as the payment, because the payment was like $100 or something like that. It was that they hadn't submitted the report. To this day, this morning, I checked the IRS. You know that Harry and Meghan Markle have published on their Archwell. If you go to their Archwell website, you will see the impact report. They call it impact report. But the IRS still hasn't filed it. The last report that the IRS has is the 2022. So I urge Doge to please look into this, because the 2023 nor the 2024 have not been filed there in the IRS. They're still missing. The 2023 is not there. So, and the same thing goes for the Department of Justice. So they are delinquent. So this is when it comes to gaslighting. They're trying to tell us what you're reading. The law says that if you haven't, this is why they had already asked for an extension, just like she has asked for an extension for this thing as ever. So we know that she's lying. We know that she's lying. And I'm going to tell you why I know she's lying, because if you go down here, this is the trademark. This is currently the USPTO. You can see here more information, right? You can see everything, what they've done, the goods and services, which is a long list. Apparently, this woman wants to trademark everything under the sun. Basic information, current owner's information, attorney's information, but prosecution's history. She was sent on November 6, 2024, notice of approval of extension request emailed. So she's asking for another extension in November 2024 because she still hasn't been able to file the proper paperwork. And this is where I tie everything in. Rather than being clever like Kim Kardashian, listening to the advice that they're giving them, that they're giving her, instead of hanging up on them, because the entitlement, the arrogance of this woman, she doesn't listen to anybody. She doesn't listen to anybody. That is a very good, sound business advice she's being given. Listen, you don't have to lose face. You can save face by saying that you weren't aware of this logo, that your team wasn't aware of this logo, and therefore, out of respect for the mayor and the culture of these people, you're gonna change the logo. People would respect her, but no, she's railroading. And what is she doing? She calls Gavin Newsom to put pressure in the patents office to get that thing moving, because she needs to sell and hawk everything for whatever cheap. And she doesn't even have a product. If you listen to Kim Kardashian, she already had secured the trademark. She had already produced the items, which were in the hundreds of thousands, when she received that letter. And as she said, it was so public. But what does Meghan do? She doubles down. And she's calling the governor of California to intercede on her behalf and get that patent thing sorted out, because everybody is at her beck and call, which is insane if you ask me. And this is why Netflix, she's now blocking Netflix. Netflix has been calling her ever since that fainting spell, because they want to meet with her. They're furious. They're being dragged to something that it looks very, very bad, especially when you involve culture, when you involve other people's cultures, because Netflix It's already mire and controversy with this woman. And she's not making them any money. She's not only making them lose money, but she's also deeply affecting their reputation in a very bad way. And after she fainted, apparently she's too frail to go to another meeting. Well, but they're insisting on the meeting. At some point, Meghan, you're going to be able to not faint and be present. And what do you guys think? Do you think that, why do you think she doesn't follow anybody's advice? Kim Kardashian, whether we like her or not, she's a billionaire. And that was a brilliant move. But what is Meghan doing? She doesn't care about anybody else. And this goes to show how racist Meghan is, because she doesn't care about other people's cultures nor race. It's about hers. Please leave me your thoughts, beautiful people. And do you think that Gavin Newsom is going to help him? I think he might.